We are back and we are exploring the city of Numara, having been forcefully taken across the ocean. We've had pretty much the run of the place since we've got here, with, you know, that whole incident of being captured, somewhat being swept under the rug. And now we are just ransacking people's homes. It's been a bit of a scare. And I want to talk about that. Oh, what's in here? So what happened is I'm recording this on the PC, and the controller I have just isn't working. And I think it's the PC. I am just going through the drivers, trying to make sure everything is updated. No matter what I do, the controller is stuck thinking that it's player 3 or player 4. Fortunately, I had a backup, and I finally gave up on that controller. Maybe I'll find out what happened to it later. But we're already a bit behind schedule in getting this episode out. If this is going to be ready for our Friday release. And so I'm just grateful that I had that spare controller so I can keep on with the schedule. Now, if you are looking at the official series playlist on my channel, you'll note that Lost Odyssey is scheduled to come out every Monday and Friday with a new episode, with Blue Dragon coming out every Tuesday and Thursday, and Final Fantasy X coming out on Saturday mornings in live format. Oh, boastful keenness. That's why we hid the treasure in. Yeah. Agreed. Whoa! Who are you guys? You want to join our club? Club? Grown-ups aren't allowed usually, but if you insist, we can put you through the initiation trial. Let's take the trial, find out what happens. Alright, find our treasures and bring them back. Mine is a red balloon, and it's hidden near somewhere of the same color. Mine's a model of a gondola. I put it right next to something that looks just like it. Can you find it? Mine's a doll with a dress. She loves to go shopping down this road. If you can find them, bring them back here. Okay. So something with the color red. A gondola. And yeah, we'll say we're having fun. And is this it? Is this the doll? Yep, doll in a dress. This looks like it's the way out of town, and I don't necessarily want to go out of town just yet. We're still exploring. Let's see if we can enter this building. Blinding powder. If we're gonna read a book, we want to start with part 1, don't we? The Brave Little Boy, part 1. Once there was a little boy who was very brave. He was also very well behaved, so all of his family loved him very much. In a nearby mountain there was an evil monster who liked to cause trouble for the people in town, ruining their crops and kidnapping their children. He was strong, his fangs were sharp, and his body was covered with tough scales, so none of the soldiers in the land were strong enough to defeat him. One day, the brave little boy saw how distressed the townspeople were. "Why is everyone crying?" he asked his mother. "The evil monster kidnapped the princess," she answered. "Why was the princess kidnapped?" the boy asked. The monster likes little children and beautiful princesses the most because their meat is soft and succulent, answered the mother. Why isn't anyone helping the princess? The boy asked. The mother answered, the soldiers tried to rescue her, but they were all killed by the monster. The monster was one of the strongest in the land. Even when every soldier in town banded together to fight him, he just opened his enormous mouth and swallowed them up. But mother, the boy exclaimed, doesn't he have any weaknesses? The monster has no scales on the tip of his tail, his mother said. So when you touch it, they say it pains him terribly. But the monster is crafty, and he never shows his tail to anyone. He always keeps his enemy in front of him. Upon hearing that from his mother, the brave little boy had a brilliant idea, which we'll find out more in Part 2. The Brave Little Boy, Part 2. Sneaking out of town one day, the brave little boy was spotted by his friends, the little bird. Where are you going? The monster is ahead, and it's dangerous. That's exactly what I need your help with. Could you go to the other side of the mountain and peck the monster on the head for me? You're small, and you can do it while flying. The bird perched on the little boy's shoulder. All right, you're my friend, so I'll help you. The boy and the bird climbed the mountain. The bones of the monster's victim were scattered across the mountainside, and the monster's fearsome bellow grew louder and louder. Here I go! Oh, here I go, said the bird as it took off, and the boy collected some sharp, pointy stones and put them in his pocket. As he approached the mountaintop, the boy saw the gigantic monster. He sat still and waited silently until from the other side of the mountain he saw the bird shoot down like an arrow and peck the monster's head with its sharp beak. The monster, surprised, turned around and tried to swallow the impertinent little bird. Just then, the boy lunged at the monster's exposed tail and drove his sharp stone deep into the soft flesh of the beast. The monster flailed about in pain, but the boy held on to his tail, refusing to let go. One by one, he plucked out all of the sharp stones from his pocket into the monster's tail. Plunged. Eventually, it proved to be too much for the mighty beast, and with a mighty thump, he fell to the ground. The brave little boy found the kidnapped princess and returned home to his mother. The brave little boy married the princess, and his bird friend was awarded all the bread crusts he could eat, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. That's a nice story that ended happier than anything Kaim experienced. Let's see what's in the drawer. Nothing like taking money. Okay. I don't know why, but this room and this color design is reminding me a lot of Star Ocean, till the end of time, I believe it was. Game that really split the franchise off. Yep, still having fun. Spoiled crewman. Hey, wait up! Huh? You're not my brother. I'm sorry. My sister must have caused you some trouble for you. Look, you're gonna get lost if you keep that up. I told you to wait while I get you the balloon, didn't I? Oh dear. Another story. I hope you know the drill by now. We're going to leave the link in the description with the timestamp of where to skip to. Go ahead and click on that if these are not your thing. But in the meantime, you have another dream. Don't forget me now. You hear? Brother dear, the cry comes from behind as he wades through the post-town's crowds. At first, Kaim does not realize the person is addressing him, and he walks on in search of lodging for the night. But the cry comes again, all but clinging to him. Brother dear, big brother. This is puzzling. He last visited the town 80 years ago. There can't be anyone here who knows him. Wait! Big brother, don't go! His puzzlement begins to take on an eerie edge, for the voice addressing him as Big Brother can only belong to an old woman. Without letting his guard down, he turns slowly. Just as he thought, it is an old woman. Dressed in the clothing of a young girl, the tiny old woman is looking straight at Kaim with a bright smile on her face. I think you may have the wrong person, he says, allowing his discomfort to show.
No, I don't,
she says with a big shake of the head and an expanding smile.
Your big brother Kaim.
What?
What's wrong, Kaim? Did you forget me?
Well, I mean, he can't place her. Even if he were to succeed in doing so, he knows he has no acquaintances in this town. He wonders, could this be a chance encounter with someone he once met on the road? But no, he is sure he doesn't recognize her. And strangest of all, why should this woman, who looks old enough to be his grandmother, address him as Big Brother?
Don't pretend you don't know who I am, Kaim. You're so mean.
She yells at him loud enough enough that the people in the crowd stop and stare at them. It is not just the fact that she is shouting, of course. People always have to shout to be heard in these crowded streets. That alone would not attract attention. The old woman's voice is different from a normal adult yell. It is like the innocent, unrestrained cry of a little girl who throws her whole body into her scream. People turn shocked expressions on the old woman and quickly avert their eyes. Their dismay is understandable. The old woman has her stark white hair tied up with a colorful ribbon, and her dress has the same floral pattern and floppy sleeves as a little girl's. Many of the passerbys look at the old woman with a mix of sympathy and pity on their faces. Gradually, Kaim begins to comprehend the situation. This old woman has simply lived too long. This is why the past, locked away in her memory, has become realer to her than the reality before her eyes. A middle-aged passerby tugs on Kaim's elbow. If I were you, I would just walk away. Don't get involved with her. She'll be nothing but trouble.
It's true, says the wife by his side, nodding. You're a stranger here, so you don't know, but this old woman is senile. You can ignore her. She'll forget everything in 5 minutes.
They may be right. The fact is, this old woman knows Kaim's name. In the little girl part of her mind, she thinks of Kaim as her big brother. He tries probing his distant memories. He spent no more than a few days here so long ago. He got to know very few people, and there can't be any of those left who still remember him. When Kaim goes on standing before the old woman, the nosy middle-aged couple become indignant. You try to be helpful, and what does it get you? Snorts the husband. Let them work it out themselves, adds the wife. Let's just go. Which they proceed to do. Winding up her voice for maximum shrillness, the old woman calls out to them as they walk off in a huff.
Don't forget me now! You hear?
In that instant, Kaim's memory makes the connection. The old woman greets his look of recognition with an expression of joy.
Do you remember me now? She cries. I'm Shushu. It's me, Shushu.
He does remember her. A little girl he met in this town 80 years ago. Perhaps 5 or 6 years old at the time, she was a precious little thing whose lack of shyness with strangers came from her being the daughter of an innkeeper. Somewhere along the way, she'd probably picked up a phrase she heard someone using, and so whenever a guest would depart after a number of days at the inn, instead of the standard goodbye or thank you, she would see the person off with a smile and cheery, Don't forget me now, you hear? Only now, when he is suddenly able to see the little girl beneath the wrinkles, Kaim must avert his gaze from the old woman's face.
What's wrong, big brother?
He cannot bring himself to look directly at Shushu's vacant stare. 80 years have gone by. What can they talk about when a man who never ages meets a little girl from the distant past who's aged too much? Let me through here, please. Sorry. Let me through here, please. Forcing his way through the crowd, a young man rushes up to where Shushu and Kaim are standing. Great grandmother, how often do I have to ask you not to go out without telling me? After scolding the old woman, he turns to Kaim with an apologetic bow. I'm terribly sorry if she's been a bother to you. She's old and getting senile. I hope you can forgive her. Shushu herself however, angrily purses her lips and demands to know, "What are you talking about? I'm just playing with Big Brother Kaim. What's wrong with that?" She peers at the young man and asks, "Who are you?" The young man turns a sad gaze on Kaim and begins to apologize again. With a pained smile, Kaim stops him. Kaim shows that, at times, it can be sadder and more heartbreaking for a life to be prolonged than for it to be cut short. Sad and heartbreaking though a life may be, however, no one has the right to trample on it. She just can't seem to get it through her head that she's old. Even if I hold a mirror up to her, she asks, "Who's that old lady?" The young man, whose name is Kashe, further explains the situation to Kaim. She might forget that she ate breakfast, but her memories from childhood can be as clear as a bell. Kaim nods in a silent understanding. Kashe and Kaim sit on a bench in the town plaza, watching Shushu pick flowers. She's apparently making a floral wreath for her long-lost big brother. "But really, sir, do you have time for this? Weren't you in a hurry to get somewhere?" "No, I'm fine. Don't worry." "Thanks very much." He smiles for the first time and says, "I haven't seen her this happy in ages." The young man seems convinced that his great-grandmother has encountered in Kaim a person who resembles someone she knew as a child. Kaim allows him this. He knows that Kashe cannot, and need not, imagine the existence of a person who never ages. Her health has really deteriorated lately. Whenever she runs a fever, we wonder if this is going to be the end for her, and we prepare for the worst. But then she springs right back. Sometimes we joke that her mind is so far gone, she's forgotten to die. Kaim sees the young man in profile. Kashe has a gentle smile on his face as he speaks of his great-grandmother. No doubt when he was little, she used to hold him and play with him. Grown up now, Kashe watches over his great-grandmother like a parent watching his own child. He calls out to her, "That's nice, great-grandmother. I haven't seen you weave flowers together like that for a long time." Squatting in the grass with a fistful of flowers, Shushu answers, "That's not true. I made a wreath for him yesterday." Then she says to Kaim, "Isn't that right, big brother? You wore it in your hair for me, didn't you?" Kaim cups his hands around his mouth and calls back, "I certainly did. It smelled so nice." Shushu's face became a mass of joyful wrinkles. Overcome with emotion, Kashe bows his head. Kaim asks Kashe, "Are you the one who takes care of her?" "Uh-huh. Me and my wife Cynthia." "How about your parents, or even your grandparents? Are they still living?" Kashe shrugs and says, "I'm the only other member of my family left alive." His grandparents both died in an epidemic 20 years ago. His father lost his life in the war that enveloped this area 10 years ago. His mother, Shushu's granddaughter, aged more rapidly than her own mother, and the lamp of her life was snuffed out 5 years ago. So my great-grandmother has had to keep holding funerals over the years, for her children and grandchildren. Before we noticed, she'd become the oldest person in town. It must be lonely living that way." "I'm sure," answers Kaim. "It might even be a kindness of the gods to let people fade out mentally when they've lived too long. At least that's how I've come to see it lately. You would think she would feel lonely to be left behind that way. But she's not lonely at all. To live long means you have a lot of memories. Maybe it's not such a bad thing to live in the world of your memories during the last days of your life." Shushu stands up, her arms filled with flowers. "Big brother, Kaim, I'm going to make a floral wreath for you right now. And if I have any flowers left over, I'll make one for this other person too." Kaim and Kashe look at each other with bewildered smiles. "Why are you smiling like that?" Shushu asks. "Are you two friends now?" She opens her wrinkled eyes wide in surprise, gives the two men a joyful smile, and collapses into the grass. Kashe starts to run for a doctor, but Kaim grabs his arm and holds him back, saying, "You'd better stay with her." Ironically, Kaim, who can never truly know what it feels like to age, has been present for that very reason, at countless deaths over the years. His experience tells him that Shushu will not recover this time. Shushu is lying on her back, where she has fallen, her armload of flowers now spread over her chest. Her face wears a smile.
Wait just a minute, big brother Kaim. I'll make your wreath for you right away.
Her mind is still lingering among her memories of the past. Will she stay like this to the very end? Keep fighting, great-grandmother. Don't let go. Kashe clings to her hand, tearfully shouting encouragement, but she may not even realize that this is her own great-grandson. It's me, great-grandmother. It's me, Kashe. You haven't forgotten me, have you? I bathed you last night. You knew who I was then, didn't you? Kashe appeals to her with all his might, but Shushu, a girlish smile on her lips, is departing for that distant world. I'm gonna be a father soon, great-grandmother, remember? I told you that last night. Cynthia has a baby inside. It's going to make you a great-grandmother. Our family is going to grow. Another person with your flesh and blood. Still smiling, Shushu grasps one of the flowers on her chest in her trembling fingers. She thrusts it toward Kashe, and in a voice no more than a whisper she says,
Don't forget me now. You hear?
Kashe doesn't understand. Indeed, how could he know the little phrase she always used to speak long before he was born? Kaim puts his arm around Kashe's shoulder and says, Answer her.
I know what you mean, great-grandmother. I won't forget you.
I will absolutely never forget you. How could I forget my own great-grandmother?
Don't forget me now. You hear?
I won't forget you, great-grandmother. Believe me, I'll always remember you.
Don't forget me now. You hear?
Shushu closes her eyes and lays her hand on the flowers on her chest, as if groping there for something. She seems almost to be trying to open the door where the memories are sealed. A soft breeze moves over her. The flowers adorning her chest dance in the wind along with the memories. Surely among those memories is the Kaim of 80 years ago. Kaim snatches at one of the petals dancing in the wind, enclosing it in the palm of his hand. Shushu will never open her eyes again. She is left on a journey to a world where there is no past or present. The only ones she has left behind are Kaim, who will go on living forever, and Kashe, who is about to welcome a new life into the world. Clinging to her corpse, Kashe raises his tear-stained face to look at Kaim. Thank you so much, he says to Kaim the traveler. Thank you. My great-grandmother was so happy to be picking flowers at the very end. No, it wasn't thanks to me, Kaim says. He closes his fists on the petal in his hands and says to Kashe, I'm sure if she had made a wreath, she would have given it to your sweet new baby. Kashe shyly cocks his head and mutters, I hope you're right. But then smiling through his tears, he declares, I'm sure you are. About that promise you made to her. Be good, and don't forget her. No, of course not. People go on living as long as they remain in someone's memory. With these words, Kaim begins to walk slowly away. Behind him, he hears Shushu's voice.
Don't forget me now, big brother Kaim. You hear?
It is the voice of the little girl from 80 years ago, ringing ever clear, sweet, and innocent, declaring farewell to the man who will travel life forever. End. Alright, and so We are back. But I think with that out of the way, we should really look at saving our game. Alright, and we've had a bit of a story. We've had another dream. And with that, let's just go see if we can find the missing objects that the kids have sent us for. Let's see. So something red. That's just... it's locked if I remember from last episode. Yep. Okay. I don't suppose it's going to be down here. Nope. Also use this as a chance to backtrack. Just to make sure there isn't anything that we have missed. Now there is a treasure chest down there that I don't quite know how to get. Oh, there's a gondola there. And that is the girl waiting for someone, right? Yep. So many gondolas in town. There really is such a big town. Lonely Choo Choo.
What is it? Are my ears looking that weird?
Not really.
Really? So why do you talk to me then?
Want to play with me? Sure.
Okay, then let's play tag. I'll run off and you try to catch me. Oh, you got me! That's weird. I thought it'd be a lot faster than you. Well, it was still fun, so whatever. Here, you can have this. I have found the underroad. Pretty, don't you think?
Slot seed. Oh, that's nice.
Bye-bye. Let us play again real soon.
Okay. That was unexpected. We're just looking around the town. Lots of little side quests here. Didn't actually expect it because we haven't had that much of an opportunity for that. Oh, what's this? You know, this game just has a pace about it. And it really fits well. I don't think I recognized it in... Oh, let's talk to this couple. Until I started our Let's Play with Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon has a fast pace. Everything is fast about it. Everything is move, 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 no, no, no. And that's just the way it is. I'm gonna go climb this ladder just in case something might be hidden over here. And Lost Odyssey, I mean, we look at this ladder climbing. It's very methodical. We look at so much. All of it is very methodical. And there's really no getting around that. We look at the battles. Things are very determined. Nothing next to this red thing. That's okay. If you compare item drops between the two in the real world, Blue Dragon, boom, gets you that item right now. And it has a very anime style. Where Lost Odyssey, you click on something, and it appears and then gives you. And it's a design choice. It's not this game lacking in anything. It's a design choice. And it's not one to make you play longer. I strongly feel that. But instead, it's to give a very strong feel about this game. And this game takes its time to deliver its message. This game takes its time to set the story. This game takes its time to build its world. And you get that from every sense, from the battles to the Thousand Dreams, every step of the way. It really feels as if this game knows, oh, we don't want to leave Numata, what it is, knows its story. Oh, we could go to the port of Numata, but we're not going to. We're going to go to the city of Numata. Knows its story and tells it in its own way. And it adds to the drama. It adds to, honestly, the realism. Because when I started playing Blue Dragon, lots of things happened, and I just had to remind myself it's styled after an anime. It's styled after an anime. It is styled after an anime. But this game has the feel of being really there. It has the feel of emotion and of events that really draw subtlety and weight. Sure, we'll play.
Okay, let's play hide and seek this time. I've got the perfect hiding place. You want a hint? Well, it's a key.
I'm gonna go climb that ladder one more time, because I think that she might be over there. Not sure. But I think she might be. So, why don't you leave it in the comments? Tell me what you think about your favorite style of gameplay. Do you like fast and quick games like Blue Dragon, Final Fantasy VIII, and even Final Fantasy X? Or do you like a little bit more slow and methodical? Lost Odyssey, Final Fantasy IX really fits that for most of its earlier incarnations, and even with its remakes. Or do you like somewhere in between? Does it depend on the story? Because this is a much more serious and a meaningful story than Shu's story from Blue Dragon, or even other games. Although Final Fantasy VIII, talking about that, I think could probably take this. So just leave that in the comments. What do you like? Let's see. Hiding place. Oh, what did you say? Okay, don't get lost. I feel lost. Let's keep going for just a little bit. Some glowing magical energy there. And you came from down here. That's interesting. Didn't really see this place on the map. But sure enough. Oh, and there's is that by the gondola or something red? I can't tell. Model of the gondola, okay. So, another really neat game design, I'm going to comment, that was not very clear based on the map, and maybe... Oops. If I had zoomed in on the map, it would have been more clear. But the little kid running out from that street made me stop and say, hey, there's something there. Yeah, it's not very clear on the map at all. So, little fun things for paying attention. We're gonna probably talk to that guy 10 more times because we're looking for lots of stuff. Another seed. Now let's take a quick look. We still want to have rings ready for when we do go out. Poison Ring Ultra. I'll take it. Okay, so there's one more ring. And here we'll just enter and see what's inside. Family house. The Eastern Tribe campaign. Under the rule of its 1,000-year-old queen, Numata has enjoyed an unprecedented period of peace. The hypercurrents served as a barrier against outside invasions, and Her Majesty's policy of a peaceful coexistence served to strengthen the nation. Numara first faced danger 500 years ago when an eastern tribe wielding powerful spirit magic sent a massive force into Numata. The army entered from the southwest, clashing with our forces in a fierce battle in the lush forest that covers the region. This battle dealt a severe blow to Numata. Although it is hard to imagine at the time, only a small handful of people, including Her Majesty, had magic abilities. The magical power source itself was still weak, and much of magic's inner workings were still a mystery. The Eastern Tribe used its spirit magic to engage in warfare in ways the Numarans had never imagined. As with black and white magic, spirit magic takes advantage of a mysterious unknown power, but its basic principle and methods are far from similar. In the end, the battle concluded with Numata's victory after Her Majesty reluctantly made use of her arsenal of black magic. The forest was soaked with blood of Numarans and Eastern tribesmen, with countless dead on both sides, buried where they lay. The battlefield, known today as the Crimson Forest, is now home to a legion of wandering spirits. Her Majesty, concerned with the danger that the forest poses, has prohibited entry into the woods ever since. So, we get world building, and we can confirm that Ming is just like us. Great snacks for kids. Sweet, fluffy, steamed cakes are a hit among children everywhere. And in some fruit for... I cannot talk after that other one. Add in some fruit for a novel delight. Ingredients: egg, milk, sugar, flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, pinch of salt, fruits, as many as you'd like. First, sift the flour and baking powder. Mix the eggs, milk, and sugar and salt into a bowl and beat well. Then blend in the sifted flour and baking powder. Cut the fruit into small pieces and work them into the mix, leaving a small amount to decorate the finished cake later. Put the mix into molds and place it into the steamer. Put it in a toothpick to check if it comes out clean. If it does, the steamed cake is done. Dress it up with various colorful fruits to dazzle your children. Best served hot with tea. Well, I think I actually read a real-life recipe. I have no idea if someone should try it at home, so, you know, doesn't sound harmful. But don't take my word for it. Mana herb. Okay. Let's just check in here. Flare bomb. Okay. Four mighty carapace. Okay. keep going. Oh, I thought it does look like I can get in there. But apparently not. And we head to the port. And here we have reached the port. This is probably where we came in on. Let's just keep looking around. Oh, the Ghost Town City of Ruins. I think that's someplace that I'd be very interested in entering once I'm finished with the town. Still quite a few things left unsolved. The kids ballooned by something red. And here we're at the Numarn port, and I can't wait for you to take a look at the next episode. If it's already out, take a look in the upper right hand corner. We've talked a bit about Blue Dragon, and you can find that playlist in the left hand side. Again, our schedules are out. We should get at least 2 episodes of both of these each week, Mondays and Fridays for Lost Odyssey, Tuesdays and Thursdays for Blue Dragon, with at least 1 live stream for Final Fantasy. Now, if you're wondering how you might be able to help the channel make sure that these videos keep going, there are a few things you can do. And I would encourage you, if there's something you'd like to do, something you'd be interested in, it would be greatly appreciated. The very first is to keep coming back for watching these videos. When you watch one of our videos, it helps tell me that these are things that you'd like to see in the future. If you want to make sure that you always get the videos as they come out, then make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we'll get you those out again twice per week for each of the main series. But the other thing that you might be interested to know is that it greatly helps us when you share these videos with others who might appreciate them. So if you have family members, friends who like Lost Odyssey, or who like Blue Dragon, or who like things in the style of these, fantasy dramas, or Blue Dragon, if you really like anime or manga, then share these videos with them, see if they might be something that person might like. I hope that you've had a great time. I'm Ndonosci. As always, have fun.